Happy Saturday, everybody. It's so great to see everybody. Let me make myself a little bit larger over here and Tim a little bit smaller. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's so good to see you. I keep forgetting that Saturday night is now like my Sunday night because I'm going to be working Sundays. And I don't know if it's going to be for a short time or what's going to happen, but I'm doing like Sunday to Wednesday. And off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's an interesting schedule. But hi, everybody. It's great to see everybody. I hope everybody had a very good 4th of July holiday. There was one thing that I did want to say before we got started. And for anybody, obviously, who is in Texas and has been affected by the flooding, I believe it was the Guadalajara, I believe that was the name of the water that flooded and has caused a lot of devastation. And I just simply wanted to be able to express, obviously, my thoughts at this time for anybody who's involved in that or lives in that area of Texas or knows anybody. I am so sorry. It is a really sad thing. Not to start with something sad, but it was definitely on my mind today, all that is going on out there, especially with the loss of the lives of so many children. It was really devastating. And so I just really did want to, express, my thoughts around that today. It's not the happy topic, but I did want to say that starting out because I think it's something I just really wanted to express. So, but yeah, we're going to talk about Tim otherwise, guys. This is a roll for me. 5 days in a row. You never know. I might do Vlogmas in July. I might just see, what happens to my YouTube algorithm if I actually have the ability to post consistently on an entire month. We'll see. I got a lot going on at the moment. So let me say hi to everybody who's here. Gail is driving, but she is listening, and we appreciate that. And I know you didn't probably have an opportunity to like, comment, and subscribe, but you did comment. So make sure when you come in, hit the likes. It puts us up the algorithm. And while everybody's making dinner this Saturday evening and probably settling down from their holiday extravaganzas, we're going to talk a little bit about how Tim was enjoying his 4th of July or not. Hey, Carol, come on in. Good evening. Hey, Catherine says she's reporting for duty. You just came over from a Facebook Live? Huh. Oh, Foodie Beauty. She's in need of some marriage guidance counseling today. Oh, bless her heart. Yeah, it's I don't even know what to say at this point. The fact that the woman has thrown herself into such a precarious location with marriage difficulties to boot, I think it's going to probably exacerbate any issues that may be going on there. But thank you for coming over. Hey, Flat Pack, good to see you. Oh, they're saying hi. Stacy's here. Hazel's here. Birdie's here. Hey, Jen X is here. Tommy T. Yeah, it's a sad event. So it's very hard to go from something that's so obviously devastating as that and then over to Tim, who did talk about flooding, believe it or not, in his luxury slab in Florida. And so one day, this is what we're kind of talking about tonight. So we had one day, Tim is giving the, absolute full, why it's so fantastic that he is living in the RV along with sort of an explanation of his multiple marriages. I don't know. It's very, very interesting. And then he talks about obviously his experience from having been in the throes of a 4th of July celebration because last year he was out of town. And so this year he was in Florida at his site in Bradenton. I don't think he did not travel for the 4th of July. So he was at home. And I don't know how happy he was. We're going to hear that. And he doesn't use nice words to describe his neighborhood. Anyway, hey, Karen. Hey, Ross. Yes, thank you. Prayers and positive vibes. Absolutely. Denise says it's the Sarasota Tick Show. It's a tick for sure. Yes. Jerry says, obviously, prayers for us. Oh, you're in Texas. Both your boys out with truckloads of supplies, gas, and chainsaws. Well, that's wonderful to hear that you're able to be so close and that you're able to volunteer. Your children are volunteering and being able to go out with supplies. That's excellent. I know personally, as a healthcare provider, if any sort of medical things, catastrophic events were to occur here and we needed to deploy nurses and so forth and medical professionals, I am a registered volunteer to do that. It's never been called on, but I am there if it need to happen. So I have made myself available if were anything to happen here in my own state. Unfortunately, that's not occurred. But at this time, were it to happen, I certainly would be there for anybody here in my own state too. And wish anything needed for Texas, just let us know, Jerry. Chuck says, hey, everyone. Denise again says, hey, Tree is here. Hey, Phoebe's here. Kathy's here. Melanie's here. Cat Lady Life. Dog Phobia says Tim knows the walls are closing in. It's just interesting to hear, one day he's talking so highly of the trailer, because obviously if you saw the video when he came out without the shirt and he kind of seemed to be a little bit in a very interesting situation, and then he goes out and he is the next day, with his shirt on and all prim and proper. It was like two different Tims had appeared in one, in a 2-day span. And then he's, so he's just all over the place. Haley says, you are watching the Kim and Cesis going to Alaska. Someone in the comments said she needed to meet Sarasota Tim, the traveler. I said, no bad advice to do. Somebody wanted to send Tim to somebody. Oh, no, please. Yes, they definitely need to do their research. Mimi Seven Hearts is here. You're listening and crocheting. Oh, that's nice. Oh, you need to do some crocheting videos, Mimi. They're very popular from what I can gather. People like to watch and follow. Hey, Sarasota who? We don't know. Some man who lives in Florida. Hey, Jay. Gladys is here. Jack is here. And I think I just said hey to everybody. So thank you guys for all being here. And we do actually have a poll that is being on the, when you come on in, there's a poll that you can participate in and have a little bit of fun. So the question is, do you think Tim really lives in the Flagstaff? Do you think he really lives in the Flagstaff? I don't think asking if he likes living in the Flagstaff really was the right question, because I think really the question always is, does Tim live in the Flagstaff? Because recently he's been calling it his office. And so it's hard to know. And he also called it his studio. So is it just something he's on the side? And we've gotten some really, we're really getting split down the 3 ways here. So yes, it's his full-time abode is one of the responses. It's no, he lives with Tammy. Just plain out now. Or sometimes he stays there. So is it sometimes he's with Tammy, sometimes he's at the Flagstaff? Which is it? I don't know. I have no idea. But we'll find out. So far, 61 people have voted. So if you haven't had a chance to vote on that poll, please make sure to participate. Yeah, that's fun. All right, guys. Well, let's just get into what Tim been up to. So I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller over here. Let me see. Can I go that way? No, I kind of look a little bit hidden over there. StreamYard's always a little different. Hey, Ann, come on in. Oh, and Nomadic E-Biking Adventures, Guadalupe River. Been there for years. A third 100-year flood in 20 years. Oh, wow. Oh, that's not good. And it's interesting because I just started to look at some property that's on a little canal. And so, yes, that's the exciting stuff that's going on. But I did make a promise, and I'm glad you're here, JJ, because I'm going to announce how much right now, and I've promised this. I finally have the sort of final tally, if you may, of what was raised on the video that we did, or the live stream that we did, raising funds for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation in honor of Bev Bianco. And so, drum roll, please. Okay, I can let you know. In total, we raised, and this is knowing that through Buy Me a Coffee, it was, and this was obviously with the, the money's taken out and everything. So what we came out with total was $133 on Buy Me a Coffee. So thank you everybody for those kind donations. We raised, and it was like $547, but I rounded it up because I'll make the extra donation, obviously, because it's the least I can do. Is $550 that was through the actual what was it? The YouTube actually is what the video and all the fundraising through the YouTube was able to raise. Obviously, YouTube, if I was a larger channel, it would have been a much larger amount, but it was $550 coming up to $683. And I will round that up to $700 that I will make as a direct donation in Bev's name in honor. And it's going to be either July 21st or 22nd, whichever the date falls on when YouTube actually sends me all the money over. Obviously, the money from the Buy Me a Coffee has just been put to the side. It's just better to make one solidly large donation. So that will be $700 in donations. Plus, I know we had easily, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Victoria. We had over $300 raised through the actual directly donated to the foundation. I know $100 was directly donated by California Steve. Thank you so much. Another $100 was directly donated to the foundation from Johnny Vegas. Thank you so much, Johnny Vegas. There was another person, and I'm so sorry if I forgot your name, but if you go to my to the live or to my channel, or well, you're on my channel at the moment, but if you go to the live videos and the one that was about raising obviously the funds for this particular foundation in the month of June, you will see that there were other people who directly donated. One person told me they directly donated $100, and another person had donated some additional monies as well. So with that said, with me rounding up to make that $683 to $700, that would actually bring that total to known, without knowing the amount. The one person who did not disclose but did say they just donated to the foundation, that would be exactly $1,000, and that's probably over slightly $1,000. So congratulations. Thank you, everybody who helped raise that money. We raised easily $1,000. And obviously, I just can't thank everybody enough for their generosity and their kindness. And I'm so excited. $1,000, that's pretty good. That's really great. And every dollar is something that's awesome. And the good news is that when I go to make that donation, it will be in Bev's honor and Bev Bianco's honor. And I think she then gets sent the email, Jay, to let it know that she's had that donation made in her name. So that's awesome. So thank you guys. So I have been promising that when I got live, I would finally reveal the amount. And obviously what I'll do is I'll try to do up a nice little post and be able to, on a Canva little thing, and be able to post that up, and where I also can say thank you so much to everybody as well. So those of you who are members of the Good life community, if you want to pop in some of those thumbs up emojis, or just anybody wants to do thumbs up or whatever emojis in the chat at the moment, it is truly appreciated, because that is awesome. And so thank you guys. That was so good. It's a woohoo moment. And so yeah. So David said when Timmy has breakfast and morning coffee in the tray, he always videos it. Yes, he really does. And it's always leftover coffee too. Yeah, that is great. So yeah, it is really awesome. And it's all really you guys. So yeah, like I said. So thank you guys so much. And I'm just honored that I was able to host such a fun event. And so yeah, and stick it to Tim as always. Yeah, because after we did that, that's when Tim decided to strike my channel like a bunch of times. It was like right after I did a fundraiser. But I fought him. The good news is I have no strikes left on the channel. If you haven't heard that wonderful news, thank you so much, Cody. Thank you, Cody, my brother. Hey, Cody. Thank you. Yeah, Mimi's. Yeah, Tim's donations. You know what, Lee? I was just thinking the other day. Yeah, he does want his golf clubs back. I was just thinking the other day. He does monetize his Crushing It for Christ videos. And I know they're not his biggest viewed videos or his largest views, but he does probably monetize those videos. And I doubt he ever gets to a church and puts money into a donation plate, or would think to do something like a fundraiser for people out in Texas, especially after he just got some Texas barbecue. And for Tim, he's got a much larger platform. And he would get the benefit of having that larger platform and having that specific giving ability that YouTube has for channels like him. So, you know, you never hear that from Tim. Nothing. It just says pay it forward with the coffee. That's it. Thank you. Any strikes from Tim's show? You are doing things right. Exactly. And he's struck me multiple times, but they're all gone for the moment. I'm sure he will find a way. I find ways to sneak out information about Tim. Oh, and he's been striking. I mean, it was like right about that time when everybody was obviously coming forward with having, you know, not had the best. Oh, Dr. Falcon says, keep up the fight. Well, I can also let you know that obviously my attorneys have tried to alert YouTube through the reporting system about his behaviors on frivolously copyright striking channels and some of the other brigading that he has done, and the way that he tries to encourage his channel subscribers to really dislike other types of, you know, content creators and not understand what fair use is and so forth. And so far, of course, YouTube has not responded, but they are still trying. So we are trying to at least get some type of, I don't know, something to let him know. You know, I can only hope that he is monitored by YouTube a little closer, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So we'll just see. I'm sure that you say, sadly, other channels just go away. They should call his bluff. Well, it's tough, JK, because many people do not feel comfortable with revealing who they are and wanting that information blasted around the internet. And so a lot of times people always say, oh, these tater channels and so forth don't show their faces. Hey, I totally show my face, and I've had a lot of my personal information blasted out there. And so I have understood, though, what the risks are when you try to put yourself in any type of public, you know, any type of public place, and you're going to be getting some commentary. If you, I'm not a public figure, but in social media, you then in some way do become a public figure because you are choosing to make your content public. And you just aren't necessarily to the levels of notoriety or fame as other people's are. You know what I mean? You'll pay the shipping. Yeah, that's right. Oh, and we also have a just for all the fun stuff going on at the moment. And I hope everyone had a great holiday yesterday. Tim has a challenge for push-ups from JJ and I. He had 1 week, and I think a couple of days have gone past now from the video when I put out about him doing 200 push-ups. I said if he does 100, I'll give him $100, but it cannot be edited. And then JJ got even a better offer, and he offered him $500 to do 200 push-ups without edits. Like, just do it on camera, don't edit. $500, 1 week, 1 week from the date of when JJ set that offer. We've not heard a peep. Tim got his shirt back on. William says he's do it. Maybe we should set up the Sarasota Tim push-up challenge. You have some associates. Oh, there you go. Hey, Tim, we can, have you not destroy somebody's property anymore. All right, guys, let's get over to see what Tim's been up to. Up to everything and nothing. Somehow he's managed to get almost $2,000 on getting some fufu juice. So somehow that's really gotten people, gotten them, fired up for views. We're going to look primarily at three things. This one, we're going to skip this one along as much as we can because he did a 36-minute video about living in the camper for 4 years. And then he talked about the flooding in Sarasota. We're going to kind of skip. We're not going to look at that, but obviously it's kind of just part of the whole thing about his situation at the moment. Actually frying meat in the house. I mean, or in the travel trailer. And then we're going to take a look at the little bit of the coffee here and a little bit more when he starts to talk about the fireworks. And then we're going to take a peek-see if we can right at the end. It's going to be at the very end of this video when Tim starts to ask for some additional support from his subscribers. And then we're going to just say goodnight at that point, guys. And so Tim went back up to 67.7. The carnivore diet has continued.
Golden.
But this is great. We're going to speed Tim up to 1.25, and we're just going to enjoy this together, guys. Would Tim recommend this lifestyle? I don't know. He changes his mind on a daily basis. Let's find out.
Years now. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to get back to what is it like, honestly, to live full-time in an RV? Well, let me just give you a couple of bits of information so you know that you're getting some facts. You already know, if you've been watching me, that I've been living in one for a while. But we got to go way back. We got to go back to when I lived in California and I was getting a divorce from my 8th wife, something like that.
Oh, gosh. I'm sure whoever was married to you in the past, Tim, does not find that funny.
And I was a desert rat. In San Diego, you surf, you go to the desert, and you go to the Colorado River, depending on the time of the year.
Tim at this point is a mature adult who's been through a couple of, if not a few marriages, and has children. So I don't know. That would always, it's not to say that we can't go off and have fun. But if that is kind of your primary identity, I think, when you're a little older, it's not to dampen. I have a blast all the time. I'm having fun right now. I probably find this way more fun than having to navigate going out to dinner in crowds and so forth, because I'm a little bit of an introvert. But yeah, that was Tim's priorities.
And you can go from the coast of California, from the beach to the desert in a couple of hours. You go over a mountain, which is right there inland, about 20 miles, and then you're in the desert. You get 4 different climates that they give on the weather in San Diego every day. You've got coastal, inland, mountain, and desert. And within 2 hours, you can be in any of those 4 climates. So if you go to the top of the mountains, a place called Julian and everything, when you cross over and you come.
Tim is stuck at that 200 pound. He does not seem to be able to budge. I think he's just holding in that colon. Dehydrated, Tim. Need more water and fiber, sir.
Down. And anyway, when I lived out there, I did all the things that Californians do. I had a surfboard, and then I went to the desert. I had first I had a 3-wheeler, and then I bought my sand rail, and I had a tent. But then I bought
I think I used to have Woody Woodpecker somewhere. I don't know what happened to that drop. Tim, you were talking about living in a camper for 4 years. Pray tell, what is this whole entire story back to when you were living in California got anything to do with this? I hope he gets to the point. The title is I've been living in a camper for 4 years. Would I recommend this lifestyle? And yet we go back to Tim and his, this whole like trip down memory lane to San Diego. Make it make sense, Tim.
A Class C motorhome, a 1980 Ford with a 460 V8.
Speed him up. Yes.
And
thank you.
I was doing my advertising.
Yeah, I'm gonna let's put it at 1.5 because he is slow. I had to sped up already. Let's take you even far. This is how Tim tries to milk AdSense, I guess. And watch time, whatever.
Business out there, the thing I did for 33 years. And I bought this. It was inland. I think up around Temecula or somewhere. And, in those days, Temecula had.
Gosh, the 33 years of the coupon business.
Grown to anything like it is today. And he had it advertised on Craigslist, maybe it was. I'm pretty sure. I don't think they had Facebook Marketplace in those days. And he wasn't going to get too many people because he was way out there. But I went and I got a great deal on it. I think it was $3,500.
Oh, God, Encino Man.
I sold it for $6,500, but not after putting some money on it.
That's so funny you mentioned the film Encino Man because I just saw that on YouTube for free. Because I have the YouTube Premium. And every month, I guess with my YouTube Premium, they give me a certain number of films that are decent films that I get to watch for free that they would usually charge people for. And sometimes I feel like it's stuff I've searched for. I don't know how, but anyway. So I'm always appreciative every once in a blue because I like a good comedy. That's usually I like a funny film. I hadn't seen Encino Man for years.
I went and looked at it. It was kind of neat. It had a full rear bath.
Sorry.
That overhead bunk, that Class C's have over the driver.
Captain
the bed up there. It was like a queen, man. And I set it up, and I went out to the desert with it all the time. And I was taking my sand rail, and then I got a divorce. And so I lived in it. I lived in it while I did my business.
Can somebody tell me what a sand rail is? I am so confused. I don't have any idea. I should probably have looked it up. But now he's living in it. I mean, I'm not saying that divorce is not hard because I've been divorced before and I know divorce is hard. I had to stay, with some people before I purchased my home. I had to stay with family and friends a little bit while I was just, getting my life restarted here in the United States. I had to move from somewhere else and obviously couldn't just buy a property straight away. So I had to, get some history here a little bit. But anyway, it's a dune buggy. How can you live in a dune buggy? Did he just say he lived in a sand rail? How can you live in it's a modified beach buggy type vehicle? Can you live in it? Can you live in it? Didn't he just say he lived in it? All right, keep going, Tim.
Moved to a place in Escondido, an RV resort right off the 15 freeway. And it was beautiful. It was $500 a month. And you could stay full time.
Well, that's the part you think is beautiful, Tim. Is a bunch of smile when he says $500 a month. I'm not saying that people should not watch their finances. Don't get me wrong. I'm so about watching my finances. Some things I'm particularly good at, other things I'm probably terrible at. I'm going to have to get much better, though, because I want to move house. And I'm trying to get the equity, because Tim reminded me how much equity I have in my property, and it's more than Tim actually said. And so I'm trying to see how I can use the equity and get this place that I want to buy, that I've seen, that I have an appointment to see on Thursday, and it's on this little canal and stuff. It's really nice. It's got a puppy yard and everything. It's got a puppy yard. It's got a yard already for Junebug. It's so nice. It has no HOA. If anybody knows in the United States what living in a neighborhood with no HOA on a dead-end street, oh, it's so nice. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just all in the mood for house shopping. So yep, and yeah. So anyway, Tim's secret to grifting, says Tommy T, is getting government money fraudulently. Yes. And I'm trying to figure out. So he's in an RV park in a sand rail. He said he had a sand rail. This is why I did not understand the story. Hoping you guys can clarify this for me.
On a monthly basis. And what I liked about it was, this is my experience of living in an RV,
hey,
I had new neighbors every few days. Some people would just were traveling. And I'd meet new people. Others were in there that were doing it like I'm doing it here full time. And I got acquainted with them. We played some golf. You put the awning out, you grill outside. It was like camping, but you lived in it. And you lived it. You lived the life. See, a lot of people that buy RVs, whether it be a driving kind or a kind you tow, they park them next to their house. They put them in a storage yard, and they take them on vacations. Take the kids out. They go.
Oh, I found this very interesting channel today. I guess because I do watch RV content somehow, and it was about this one lady who has a channel, and what she does is help people who get faulty RVs, and helps them get things like with the manufacturer or all sorts of stuff she was talking about. There was one, I tell you, Tim, you'll be jealous. These ladies had gotten what's known as a tiffin. And if anybody's in the RV community, I am sure you understand what a tiffin is. And this particular RV, and this was an RV because it was one that you did drive, $260,000 was the cost of this particular thing. And it was giving these poor women trouble. Like the blinds were not working correctly. It was all these different things. So that was a fascinating thing to watch. But yeah, tiffin. Tim, you're not in a tiffin, sir. If you're not in a $260,000 tiffin, I don't know what you're talking about.
For a week or so every year with it, but they have a sticks and bricks. Just like a lot of people like right next door to me. They have a big fine home up north, but they come down here for almost 6 months a year in a diesel pusher and live, out of the snow in the Sunshine State. But others like myself, this is the home. This place was built in 1977, but it has been completely remodeled. Absolutely remodeled. From roof to everything inside the place, everything brand new. It's like a brand new place. The siding, everything, pretty much brand new. So nice. It's really nice. It's very nice. And you can get your little paddle board out, or your little boat, and your little whatever out in the canal. Oh, it's nice. Hot, cold, tornadoes, hurricanes. You do it all.
No HOA.
So getting back to when I got the divorce, and then I moved into my Class C, was the first time I lived in it. I had stored mine too. I lived in a
It's like these tiffins are terrible. I could not believe that it was a 250K RV that starts leaking the minute you drive it off the lot. Yes, it's terrible. Tiffins are the top of the line. You just have an 18K bullet. Well, Riptide, I'm telling you, you don't want the tiffin. From what I'm telling you, there's this lady who has to fight for people with these RVs. Yes, that creator shows up for me too. She helps people with RV issues. So expensive to have issues, but seems to get it done for them. Yeah, we need to make sure that I wish I could. I'm gonna have to try to find out what the name of that channel is, because that's some good stuff. Yeah, Tiffins are homes on wheels. Yes, that's what Tim. That's like living, Tim. Thank you, Cody, to help with new home with a fence for June. But thank you, Cody. That's very sweet. It does. It actually has a puppy fence. Oh, and it looks over the little, oh my gosh. Well, that's very sweet of you, Cody. That's so sweet. I have an appointment. I'm trying to see what we can do, because a lot of equity in this place. So thank you. That was so sweet. And Junebug is actually coming on the appointment. And I said, can we bring Junebug and put her out in the yard? Because she needs to like the place too. So that's really nice. And I've been in this place for 20 some years. So I just feel that if I never move, I'll be carried out of here. And this is a ranch, and I have to say, I don't want to be going up and downstairs all the time. So anyway, yeah, that was sweet. Sounds like Nirvana. Oh, it's nice, Catherine. It's nice. But Tim writes unicycles too. Liz Amazing is her YouTube channel. Thank you. Yes, if you want to check out about the Tiffin, about the $260,000 terrible Tiffin. That into their quality. Tiffin and Newmar really nice, but like anything, you can get a bad one. Sometimes it's all about customer service as well. And I think that's the thing they were talking about, is the customer service. Looking for a used, I would think so. I would agree. There was somebody selling one of those little Mercedes type vans near me at one point. Oh, Lori, how kind of you to gift a Life and Vibe membership. Let me see who got that. Who was the lucky person who got that? Let me see. I should be able to see. Oh, Denise. That's awesome, because I know Denise is often here a lot. So Denise is our lucky new Life and Vibe member. So welcome to the community, the good life. Welcome. Thank you. That was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you. And yeah, congrats to Denise. That was awesome. All right, let's continue with Tim. Tim, you need a Tiffin on House on Wheels.
I was renting a pool house actually, with the wife and kids. And so when we, went our own ways, I found the RV resort, and I took the RV. I went out and worked a little bit, and then 3 days a week.
Wife and kids and went our own ways? Is that... I love how Tim just kind of smooths. That's why one of the reasons why I try not to get him talking too quick, even though 1.25 seems kind of slow, because it skips over things like the way he just skips over his children.
I would still want to go to the desert with my sand rail, and I would hook it up to the trailer that the sand rail went on. It was like a car carrier, and I would go to the desert. It was only a couple hours. And I'd stay over there 2 or 3 days. I'd take a bunch of beer and liquor.
Awesome, Margaret.
Food and steaks and gasoline and high octane gas and loud music and rock and roll, baby. And I would throw down. I mean, I'm talking, I was a rounder. I was getting down. And I had plenty of money because I didn't have any debt, and my business has always been very lucrative. And again, I've told you guys, I used to only work 2 or 3 days a week, and I would go out to the desert. Wouldn't be any rent because I'm in my own Class C. You stay in the desert for free. It's what they call boondocking.
Okay, so he has a Class C, he said. And he was boondocking out in the desert. Imagine this is your dad. He's got those couple of hundos in his pocket. And he had to work a few hours. Somebody made a very good comment today. Said, gosh, what if he had worked 60 hours a week? Think how much money Tim might have had. Instead of working 12 hours a week. What if he had worked 60? What if he had just worked 36? 3 times, 3 times as much. From 12 to 36.
Today, I had a generator that ran, and I had a TV, and I had music, and I was really into music in those days. I had unbelievable sound system in this thing. This Class C, this 1984 that I had, was bitching, and that's when it got in my blood. And so I would come back to Escondido, and I'd go back in my RV park, and I'd play golf, and I'd go out and I'd earn a few days, and then back to the desert. And I repeat.
Oh, there we go. That's what we know Tim was doing. Remember, he likes to tell everybody that he saved and planned. Doesn't sound like you're saving or planning much. It sounds like you're putting money into things that are probably going to lose value over time. But Tim is going to tell you a different story about the Class C, of course. So he's got the sand rail and the Class C. He's just living the life, girls.
Did this for
his ex-wife was just ecstatic.
Right there at the Escondido RV Resort, which is still there today. And then I won't go through my life story again, but I got back into sticks and bricks. And I moved to Georgia. That's right. That's right. I lived in that class quite a while. I left California.
Oh, I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking it is a very popular activity, actually. But I wonder how often the children were accompanying Tim on these activities. Or was it just Tim alone? Doesn't sound like the kids were joining him. It doesn't sound like it was a family affair. Oh, and Tim certainly enjoyed himself for sure. But it seems like Tim certainly was doing a lot more enjoying than probably, saving for the future. But he likes to tell people he saved and planned for the future.
Yeah, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and got an apartment. The apartment life,
nothing for his kids, Carol.
Like I had that house I was renting that was a pool house, and that's one thing. But today, it's very expensive to rent a house. And unless you have a big family, you don't need a house. So a lot of people do the apartment, condo, something like that. Well, I actually got a townhouse in Atlanta and continued doing my business. And then I sold that RV for $6,500. The four tires are 2, 4. You had 4 tires that have dualies in the rear. No, I think it only had 4 tires on it.
Here we go. This is a great story about the tires.
It didn't have dualies. They all blew out the day like I bought it. I was driving it home. They looked like they were brand new tires, but the thing had been sitting forever, and the tires had dry rotted. And as soon as they got heated up, boom! And I mean,
how are you supposedly like this expert car salesperson, and you couldn't tell that somebody had put some Almirall on some old tire? I just always question Tim's thought process on stuff sometimes. Did you ask when was the last time they taken the vehicle out? Tim just saw a great price.
There's 3 of them, so I ended up replacing them all. So I spent a lot of money for that. Those tires were not cheap. And then the plumbing, skinny little PVC pipes, or whatever they use. They don't use like housing pipes. It's all about weight and making these things cheap. I sprung a leak and I had to put some plumbing in. It wasn't drastic, and I didn't ruin the coach or anything.
So we've got blown tires and blown plumbing. Sounds absolutely fantastic at this point. I don't think anything that you want in any type of vehicle is like water damage going on. And blown plumbing inside of a travel trailer of any type sounds terrible. Sounds disastrous. Sounds like dry rot waiting to happen.
And then I lived in it. So, and when I sold it for $6,500, it was a great deal. I made money, and then I lived in it for free. Well, $500 a month at the RV park. So a lot of the money was free. Anyway, it got in my blood, and years went by, and it wasn't until 2020 when the pandemic came, and I left Sarasota and went back to the East Coast to Boynton Beach, and I bought that wolf pup. And that was about the same living space inside as the Class C had. Because if you took,
how did we get to the wolf pup from this place in San Diego? Wasn't he out in North Carolina and had time in Georgia and other places? I thought the wolf pup was way okay. All right. I'm time traveling strangely with Tim.
Off the truck part of it, it was still the same amount of, you go in, there's a booth, you sit down, and the bed was overhead. The bath was in the rear. So it wasn't much bigger or smaller than the wolf pup. So I adapted to it right away. And that particular camper, RV, trailer was and is a very, very popular little trailer. People love that wolf pup. It has a high ceiling. It's a Forest River. It's got pretty good construction, neat little floor plan, and it just works. So 2 years, I went in that. And then
he was living in a tent.
By myself.
That's what I'm saying. We went from a San Diego RV and some tires blown out to the wolf pup. It's like, I feel like there's a lot of, what happened to the apartment with Miss Tammy? I have evidence of that, Tim. You were known acquaintances.
By myself. Pretty much. I was the only one that lived
whatever they call you.
And then I traded it for this. And now I'm going on 2 years with this. So now I've got like almost 4.
Is he trying to say he traded like one RV for the wolf pup to the Flagstaff? Is this what I'm trying to? See, is this the new narrative? I feel like there's a lot of stuff that, like, decades that got left out in the story of Tim here. Is he trying to explain how, I mean, I don't know if it's because I sped him up. I understand it less. I have no idea. I'm so confused.
For years in a row of living in a travel trailer. And then I had years earlier in that Class C. I wanted to tell you about that so you know that there's been three different ones. Even that little cramper that I bought just to travel with, that wasn't living in it. It was just a little thing to use to take a trip.
Yeah, cool. I forgot that part, Hazel.
I kind of wish I had it still. But I couldn't live in that. You know, you can't. What are you going to do? But so what is it like? Well, I can't imagine sharing it with somebody.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
Because I never had anything like these fifth wheels. That would probably completely change it, where two people could coexist in like the fifth wheels around here. And if you know what a fifth wheel is, it's a much longer, bigger camper. It's like a small apartment. And you can do it. I mean, people could do it in this, but no, this is a one-person thing.
Yeah, it's not, I guess, the Tiffin. That's like the house on wheels, but they leak. That's what I'm hearing. I've been living in a camper for 4 years. Is that right? Since 2021? Was 21? Wasn't he living in a tent in 21? Or was he in the wolf pup? I thought that was about tent time at Ted and Jolene's house and the property management. I mean, maybe it was starting at the mid 21 because he would have then gotten that EIDL, and maybe that was about the time he was starting to look at the wolf pup. But I want to say up to that point, there was a tent there somewhere
to live in.
Okay.
To take it on extended vacations, traveling, going off for a few months, a couple of months, a month, whatever. Yeah, you could do it. As long as you knew in your mind you didn't live in it and you were just doing something, you know, to escape the heat. You took off for 2 or 3 months or even a month.
Thank you so much for that. Super watching and judging you. How many times can he blab about his bad choices? By the way, that badge he had was as fake and illegal. Yes, it was. Absolutely. And we don't even know what version of the bad stories is this. We have no idea. We have no idea what version of this is. I feel like we missed so much history here. Well, Tim, we might can end up doing a members only where I don't get struck by Tim for stuff, where we can go over some of these details a little bit more clearly. So we don't get confused by Tim's timeline. And also look at all the stuff he got in trouble for in North Carolina. No, that would be mean. All right, keep going, Tim.
You know, 2 people, no problem. But to like live in it, and both of you have all the things that you've got to have, even as a minimalist, to live.
I know.
All the clothing and things like that. No way. No way. Not in this, but in a fifth wheel, maybe. So my experience has only been in something. In fact, that Class C was called a 25-footer, but that counted the front of the grill where you drive the thing. But that bed did come over it, so it was part of it. So I had a 25-footer. The wolf pup was 17.
What was that little tiny thing that he had? That was like that little thing. That wasn't the wolf pup. What was that other thing he had? That was like the one you could barely stand up in. That was like the tent, wasn't it? Where did we forget that particular vehicle or the trailer thing?
But it didn't have a nose on it. It was just the camper itself. So it was kind of close. Probably a little smaller than that Class C was.
Live in the present.
But to live in one of these,
the teardrop.
I'm gonna give you the good.
Yes.
Like when I come home every day.
Where's the teardrop?
I know I'm not going to an apartment and I've got to hear somebody stomping upstairs or through the walls.
Exactly. You have that teardrop. But where's this in the story? Where's the teardrop?
So you can go to RV parks and have a neighbor right next door to you, and they have it here. I'm a little more private in my spot. I'm very lucky.
Thank you for clarifying.
You can have people,
a bushwhacker,
campsites and stuff, right there on you.
Bushwhacker, yeah, the little
And you can hear them
thing.
because these are not,
coffin on
especially through that slide.
wheels.
I can hear everything out there. When my neighbors are here and they host out there, they're always partying and doing things. But that's just what it is right now. I haven't heard anything. I own the place. But when I come home, it's always kind of thrilling to open the door. You go up those 3 or 4 steps. You come in here, and everything is like camping. It's homey feeling. You got residential style refrigerator and stove and microwave and color TV, theater recliner chairs, a beautiful bathroom that's adequate with a porcelain toilet that's back there, a queen size bed, huge closet, with full length mirror.
Tim is just, here we go. We get another tour of the Flagstaff, everybody. Best floor plan for however many feet. Oh, keep going, Tim.
Full length mirrors and all of this stuff. And you're looking back there, the coloring, and you come in and you just can't help from really
all the blue
noticing it every time you're on this.
I know. And make sure you hit the likes, guys, and take a look at the poll. We're trying to decide whether or not Tim actually lives in this travel trailer full time. Or is it just his studio /office? Or is it kind of half and half? Like he has to be there when Tammy out of town, and when Tammy back in town, he's allowed back in the apartment. So that's kind of what we're trying to decide. And at the moment, I can let everybody know we have had 127 votes, which is pretty remarkable. And it's pretty, it's actually about 53% think that sometimes he stays there. So there is potential that there are occasions when he does sleep in that Flagstaff. Some think it's 19% are thinking it truly is his full-time abode. And 28% just think, nope, he lives with Tammy and just literally goes there just to film and fry some meat. That's what that's for. So, yeah, take a look at that if you haven't. And Tim is not going to age gracefully. Now, he's not aging gracefully already, Tommy, as we saw. Because you have to remember, just the day before this video, look how proper he looks in his nice blue shirt. He's got his microphone on. He's well turned out. And has he ever asked the question he would recommend that lifestyle? I don't know if he does, actually, Jay. I think he answers it the following day. But if you think about it, the day before, he came out with no shirt on and was like looking at himself in the mirror and the windows or the refrigerator and the window and stuff. It was a very different Tim the day before. And then he's out all proper in his shirt talking about living in the trailer all nice. When he came out looking like an absolute disaster the day before, I mean, he really looked like an absolute disaster. What do you mean? There's no more. Oh, it's going to be discontinued due to poor sales? So much for the best trailer plan ever? I was shocked. I am shocked that they would discontinue the best floor plan ever. Oh my gosh. Tim is going to be devastated.
You don't get used to an apartment. You pull up in your parking spot.
Devastating.
You go to that weird thing with the stairs go that way and that way. There's a door up there, door over here, and 2 doors down here. And you find what hole you're in. You put your key in. You go in your little box. Yeah, you go in. It's 3 times as wide as this, and it has a separate bedroom. I had a 750 square foot apartment, which is tiny, but it's huge compared to inside here. And that was for 2 people, and that is totally doable. Totally.
So this is where Tim tries to convince you that an apartment is a box, but the travel trailer is not a box. Just please, somebody try to help me make this make sense. But just listen to, to listen to how Tim describes it, because the apartments are just boxes, of course, Keep going, but not a travel trailer.
Totally a 1-bedroom. Most people that are a couple that have 2-bedroom, they don't even use the other bedroom except for to host or make it as an office or storage, put other things in there, whatever, which is kind of cool. But you can save a lot of money today getting a one.
Oh. Tim is trying to show why having extra bedrooms aren't great. A lot of times it's a good additional storage space as well, Tim.
1-bedroom versus a 2. So the good, you come home, it's kind of neat, and if you have something that's new and modern like this, it takes it to another level. That Class C, though, was really nice. I had that, like I said, that really cool sound system and the TV. And those were younger days for me. I used it to go to the desert with. And then the Wolf Pup. I was living over on the Intercoastal Waterway on this property as property manager. And I had my own little, like, you go to a construction zone, they got these trailers there where the office.
This is how he is, like, just selling what he was doing over at Ted and Jolene's, the property manager. Was he even really a property manager there? He just say it. Yeah, he can be. Let's not get me in trouble with YouTube. Yes, that's right, Angel of Glass. Thank you so much for being here. Please do not forget to hit the like button. It's a free way to support, and it helps her out with the YouTube algorithm. Absolutely. Hey, Sammy, come on in. I know you get busy, girl. It's Saturday night, and you live in a hot, fun city. And it feels like it's my Sunday night because I have to work. I'm working tomorrow, so yeah. My 2-bedroom is 980 square feet. You pay $1,350, includes washer, dryer, screened-in porch, and a community pool. And you live closer to the beach than ST. Well, that sounds lovely. That sounds very nice. Yeah, that's a bitchin' life. Yeah, he's got a bitchin' life over here. Aren't you jealous? It's like a homeless guy in the teardrop. No. It's actually your Sunday. Oh, there you go. It's kind of like mine Sunday too.
It's temporary, and I'm just there. I'm portable.
You're there. You're
when I stepped out, I had.
Where have you been purporting yourself to?
This cool environment, the Intercoastal Waterway. I could walk or ride an e-bike over to the inlet, Boynton Inlet, where I used to go all the time. And it's the same thing here. You come back and you know that you're
riding the e-bike to the point. He is hyper today. Well, obviously I have him at 1.5. I am going to preface that. So he's just hyper because he's been sped up. Okay, keep going, Tim.
Portable. That it's a temporary, if you want to make it temporary. And you always feel like, and that you own something, even though it doesn't appreciate. There's these things that I think about.
You own something, but it doesn't depreciate? Is he trying to say that this isn't going to depreciate? He's portable. He is portable. Yes. If somebody's paying for the gas, he's portable. Timbo's job as PM was to stand under the coconut trees to stop falling coconuts with his flat head. I shouldn't laugh. I should not laugh. I know. That was kind of funny. Did you notice when he mentioned the real salt yesterday, he didn't mention Hilton Tom's name like he usually does? Oh, maybe. Oh, no. I have heard that Hilton Tom, through other sources, did hit on Miss Tammy. I have heard through the grapevine. And Tim didn't seem to care.
That I get off on, that excite me. It's not like I live in a trailer. I come back and I pull up and I look at it and I go, man, I wish I could get an apartment, or I wish I could. No, I mean, I have a nice one.
Tim, you have to say this so many times a week. It makes me think otherwise. I feel that if it was so great to be in the Flagstaff, you wouldn't have to keep telling everybody how great it was to be in the Flagstaff. Or you were just so out of content by this point that you all just having nothing else to say. Sorry, I just looked at poor Junebug on the floor because, as you know, it was the 4th of July last night, and I had to give her this medication that sedates dogs somewhat for these types of events. It's like a gel, like they put into their mouth, and tonight, I'm anticipating it could be that people start popping off fireworks again because they'll have got some and they'll have some more to let off. And she was getting nervous already this evening. I had one dose left, so I just gave her another dose, and she's just kind of laying here on the floor next to me. Because like I said, here at the oceanfront, we have all sorts of fireworks stuff going off at this weekend. And so hopefully she'll stay calm for the next couple of hours, but it only stays good for a couple of hours. But I gave it to her the 2 doses worth last night. Yeah, bless her heart. She was shaken, but the stuff seems to be pretty good and kind of chills her out. So
I got a TV back there. I don't even use. I forgot about it. I can't tell you the last time I turned that thing on. But in today's time, with the inflation
thank you, Flat Pat.
It's like the smartest thing in the world for me. Because first of all, what do you need a place to do?
Thank you for that, Flat Pat. Flat Pat says it's all justification for him. Jinsey call it cope. Yeah, I guess, I guess you could call it that his way of coping in some way with him going on about how great it is to live here. It's just interesting. I don't know if he's doing it for the YouTube views, because from what I can understand, it can be very hard to live this way permanently. I mean, if that's kind of, what your situation is, then obviously, yes. But in reality, I think it can be difficult. We know he struggles with the laundry.
To shower and to recharge your battery and somewhere safe. So I have it. And it's cool looking.
I don't know about the safe, Tim. Not for your neighborhood. There was like a homicide that happened there. And the way you go on to describe your neighborhood sometime with the sirens going and stuff, you're not always very flattering to your neighborhood. So it's one day he's like, oh my gosh, everyone just living the life in this park. And then the next day you're like using other language, which isn't really appropriate, but we'll let Tim explain that shortly.
And it's fun. And I can even play my music louder here than I could in an apartment without worrying about somebody, saying something. And when the time comes that I do want to travel, it's portable. And I get to take all this with me. I don't have to go. So there's a lot of good. I was thinking about when I got ready to make the video. There's a lot of good, and I'm not tired of it.
Yes.
However, if I were to collaborate or even consider it.
Yes, he did.
Get married again.
He did use that
fall in
language.
Love. There's no way I would consider inviting anyone to come in here and live in this. It wouldn't be, no, not at all. And I don't know if I would really even want.
I think the word secure, Victoria, is loosely used when it comes to Tim and his pew-pews, because he has had his pew-pews taken from the side pocket of the driver's side of his car because he just left a gun there, or passenger side or something. He just left a gun in the pocket of the car door, and someone just took a gun. So I don't know, secure. I think that he probably thinks because he has that RV lock on the thing that secured his gun. I don't even think he's got a safe box. He just got them. I don't think he's particularly good about his control of his weapons.
To get a fifth wheel,
in my opinion,
and do that, because it's a different dynamic. Lots of people are doing it.
God.
Lots of people are doing it. Like the neighbors I mentioned, they have a home up north. They come down here and they live together for 4 or 5 or 6 months, however long they do. A lot of people do 6 and 6, 4 and 6, or 4 and 8, whatever it is. Down here.
Oh, that's terrible, Jenna.
But to go 12 months and all around and just constantly and for years in a travel trailer, a fifth wheel of any size, to cohabitate, me personally, I don't think so. And I'd want an apartment.
I thought when he picked this place out, it was because it was the best floor plan you could have for 2 people traveling. Though I don't think this was the one. Miss Tammy wanted a different floor plan, but this is the one he liked.
A condo, a townhouse, a small house, a cottage, anything that's a sticks and bricks. Not this. This is a single guy or single gal, single guy or single gal. This size for sure. Totally could do 2 people for extended vacation.
I don't know. I think because I have a dog and stuff, and maybe I'm not a minimalist like Tim. I'll be honest. I don't think I could stay in such a small space. I had to stay in a small room. One would be just the cooking smell. just the smells so close to everything else. That would be what I would find. And I have a condo that's got a very open floor plan currently. And I do run that air purifier that I showed on my channel because I need to kind of maintain and I don't really cook that much. I just reheat stuff most of the time. But I still want the smells, and my kitchen is still a little bit too close to my bedroom for comfort. So that's why I'm also looking at newer places, which has, the kitchen a little bit more, differently done. But I don't know. And I think I'd want a more powerful shower than one in a travel trailer. I like a powerful shower.
Month or two, you're gonna be traveling. Of course, easy peasy. Live in, no way.
You really said
no way.
Too.
So
yeah,
that's my deal about what I think about it. And
that's
the pros.
It's
fun,
you grilled
it's
the
cool,
meat
it's
indoors
inexpensive,
today.
and
because I think
you're
the
always
grill
aware of it.
There goes the fireworks.
Something that gets in your blood.
See, I just heard the first little firework pop off. So I'm glad that Junebug is relaxed on the floor next to me at the moment. I'm so glad you just relaxed, Junebug. Yeah, she's sound asleep on the floor right next to me.
You like it? And now the negative.
Oh, there we go. Negative.
I really
that was
am proud
positive?
of mine, how I've been through hurricanes, tropical storms, extremely high winds, and both the wolf pup, not so much at Class C, because I was in San Diego. The weather was perfect. They didn't have any issues out there. But when I had the wolf pup over in Boynton Beach, there were several hurricanes, tornadoes, warnings of tornadoes, thunderstorms, lightning, right over the roof, it seemed like. And that is absolutely horrifying. It's so much different being in an apartment, especially when you got another apartment above you. When a storm goes by, you sit there, you hear the thunder crack, but you don't feel the same way you do if you were inside this. It's almost like you went from a camper.
I have never seen a dog as petrified. Well, my little dog is but Junebug gets really petrified for fireworks. So I did double check, make sure that she did get that medication. I did not want her to go through it again this holiday, and especially being at the resort district, it gets really bad. So yeah. And other people were calling on Thursday to get their dog's medication. I called on Tuesday. So I wanted to make sure they didn't run out too.
To a tent. It is you feel so vulnerable. So quick story. I had the wolf pup went through some bad weather over there.
It didn't last long. Yeah.
Over on that property.
Yeah, shockingly. I know the finger split gone. I try to remember, did he come out with the finger split on while he had no shirt on? Was the split on but no shirt? I think I was so distracted.
Pull it out of there. You brought it back. Over here with this one, I'll never do it again. I was in a different space over here in this park, and tropical storm.
Yes,
Debbie
they do. They hate the fireworks.
Flooding to biblical proportions here over in the Suncoast, and it was on the news. It was worse than the last two hurricanes, Milton or Helene, because of the amount of rain. It rained for days.
I put her bed in the shower.
And it was windy and thunder.
Right, I have to put the dog's bed in the shower because she's going to go to the shower. Once again, the bed was in the shower, but this time I was able, at least when I went to bed, I was able to get her up on the bed with me, which was quite in the feet, and I gave her another dose in the med, and she kind of went to sleep with me. So yeah, but I've only got one dose for tonight. So
and lightning, it was tropical in nature, and it was slow moving. And while I was high and dry on the slab over there, it was at night and day, and I was in that bed, and I'd wake up. This is it. I mean, the one night, I think it was one night that I had to deal with like the worst of it. And I said, I'll just move it from now on. I'll never deal with that again. And there's nowhere for me to go unless I want to go get a hotel room. But then I'm worried about the vulnerability of my camper. I know if a hurricane is even forecasted to come in my direction, I'm hooking up and I'm going to go, anywhere in the other direction.
Yeah, we know, Tim. You won't offer any help to anybody else who's been a victim of the hurricane. So yeah, keep on. But you'll get money. Do you buy me a coffee for it? You'll milk some donation money
and stay at a Cracker Barrel or Walmart or whatever I got to do for a day or two. That's all. I don't need to worry about a campground or anything like that. I just need to get out of harm's way. But
didn't he not take Fred and Rafaela or something, and he just took himself off, left like other people behind? Such a good person, Tim. Took himself off to a parking lot. If I remember the hurricane incident,
you have no idea. The roof, the noise of this, a little sprinkle, and you hear it. But this morning, I showed you that water out there. It came a flood. And I was in the bed, and then the thunder started coming. I grabbed my phone right away.
He took them so they could pay.
Because
That's
the radar,
right. He took them so they could pay. It was something. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
I'll show you. Forget what it says in words. If you see red, it's right over your blue dot. And anything can happen in those thunderstorms. A little tornado could spin up or lightning or something.
Right.
Nobody else in here is sleeping either. We're all quite aware that it's raining because of the noise on the roof. And then
I think he got shamed
that accompanied this weather this morning. But I have, especially when I was out in Laughlin. It was windy 24/7.
I have no idea.
I mean, sustained 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, those Omaha replacement stakes are taking a long time to show up.
Blowing against a billboard. This is like a wall. And it was shaking this thing. And so weather is a whole different thing versus sticks and bricks. She holds up. Nothing's leaked, not a drop. Nothing's been ripped off from the wind. But because of its...
At the end of this video, I'm going to give away some Good Life memberships. So stick around, guys.
Skin and how it's made.
Forgot about
it's like
that.
10 times worse than it probably is outside. The way it sounds, the way it feels. You're on wheels and a suspension on this thing.
He's still talking. Yeah, he's still talking.
I don't have it really stable like these people do. They're here permanently. They really stabilize them. Mine is just to lift them up, hook up my truck, and go.
I thought this was the negatives. Sounds like that's just a positive, Tim, that you can, transport your home. So how is this a negative? Sounds like you're having the best time ever.
I mean, if I was sitting there and you were in here and you were walking back and forth in my camper, I'd feel it. So the weather is a real detriment. And you live in a place like South Florida this time of the year, we got hurricanes, but you're not going to leave when it's going to be a tropical storm. You would maybe, but you're going to leave when it's like forecasted thunderstorms like we got this morning and yesterday and going to get today. It could hit you, it could not hit you, but you still feel, fortunately the spot is dry. So I'm not worried about water coming in, and I'm about 3 feet off the ground. I got to climb 3 steps, right, to get in here. So I don't worry about water coming in. But
this medication is good because the fireworks are popping off and Junebug is just snoozing away on the floor. Oh, she heard me say her name, but she's not seemingly worried about the firecrackers as usual.
Wind and that kind of thing. So when it comes to weather, that is a problem. And, we went months without rain and you never even thought about weather. But man, this morning I was thinking about laying in there. I had to get up. I got up at 2 and I tried to keep laying there. I told Alexa to put on some meditation music. And so I had that going. I was thinking my thoughts and I was praying.
2 a.m. That's a heck of a stone to be woken up by.
And thinking on God and, expressing gratitude and some of the exercises that I like to do that keep me mentally centered. But so that's what it's like, living full time. Do I recommend it? Highly. Is it for everybody? No. And is it for people that want to do it 6 months of the year and have something like this rather than buying another property and HOA and property tax like these people are doing, a lot of them? Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea to get out of the snow and come down to Florida and have a place to kick it and go to the beach. And you're like,
well, yeah, sounds like it does sound like a good plan. Don't be envious, Tim.
Vacation. But to make it your home, like Stuart, the guy I mentioned in my videos, that just bought him an RV and he's living in Tennessee, he's going to deal with some cold weather. I know exactly what he's going to deal with because when I lived in Atlanta, it was freezing 6 months of the year. And it don't have to snow to be cold. But this boy here, I'm a Florida boy. I'm not living North Carolina again, Charlotte, Atlanta.
What's wrong with Charlotte? Charlotte's a nice city. I lived in Charlotte. I like Charlotte. It's one of my favorite places I've lived, actually. I had a blast in Charlotte. Charlotte was fun. Charlotte was a fun place. You went out, lots of people who came from other parts of the United States living and working there. So when you went out and participated in stuff, there were always like people to talk to and meet. I had a blast when I lived in Charlotte.
Ever again. No, because it's cold 6 months of the year. The leaves fall off the trees. It looks depressing.
It is not that cold in Charlotte. It's not that cold. I promise you. I was just over the border in Rock Hill, also in South Carolina, and it was warm pretty much all year round, and then hot in the summertime, obviously. But I remember like October, November, December wandering around in shorts. Now, once I got up into Virginia, it was a whole different story of weather. But down that part, it's pretty warm still.
The palm trees, the green sod, the beaches, all that,
Pretty
all day, every
lovely.
day. With the hurricanes. I really will, because I can just go. But anyway, I hope you like the video. Hope you have a great 4th of July. Today, it's going to put a date.
So did he say if he was going to recommend the lifestyle? I mean, did we get a good list of pros and cons there? I mean, most of the time, most people you would think, most of the time in these types of videos from these creators, if you watch this type of content, usually they do try to show pros and cons, and they're very clear and they have a list. And I just feel like Tim has always just got up and decided to just ramble on for 36 minutes. The first part of the video was him clarifying about the Independence Day celebrations.
Camper. I don't know what the real forecast is, or it's going to rain on this side of the road, not the other. But I hope everybody can get their hot dogs and their hamburgers cooked up today outside, whether it be at home, at the beach, at a park. Yeah. And we're going to look for the big signing tonight at 4 or 5 o'clock when the president signs in that new big, beautiful bill into law. And we're celebrating America 249, 250, and that our country is going to be going into the golden ages. We're going to be doing really, really good. And it's just amazing of what we've accomplished already since President Trump's been in office.
Well, I guess he recommends the Flagstaff for singles. If it was a bigger floor plan, then it would be recommended, I guess. I guess he thinks for single people. So I guess that would mean yes for Tim. Is he still hashtag solo? All right, what you take?
And just imagine, without the things that he's done to protect us with Iran and everything else, had someone else been at the helm.
Oh, okay. Oh, Tim. So God stepped in. No. Don't ruin our jam like that. We're here for the fun stuff. Okay, let's get back over Tim. Okay, so Tim is now Victoria brought up a good point there. So if you're single, that's what he recommends. But it'd be nice if he had a very clear nice little list of the pros and the cons. Tim, you've made enough money that you could probably get somebody to edit your videos, sir. You could have given them all of your footage, okay, of the day. It wouldn't have to be on that day, you know. People wouldn't know if it's the day before. And you could have them edit a nice video with some music and using all your different clips. Tell them you want, a nice 15-minute video. That's usually, a good amount of view time, especially with your type of repetitive content, sir. And then just say, pop me out something really nice from this. And they could put in all the little pros and cons that come up on the screen. And you could do some really nice stuff. That would have probably kept your channel going. You could have taken some of that and really invested into something that would have created a really distinct brand. But I think you just don't have, you really don't, for somebody who's supposed to say was an entrepreneur for 33 years, your branding really is terrible. I thought especially you don't really seem to understand. You just got so lucky on producing such an easy video that you put little to no effort in creating, that you assume that every video going henceforth should have the same level of no creation. All right, we're going to give away some Life in 5 memberships right this minute. 147 votes on the poll, guys. So thank you so much. We're going to keep that open. So far, 54% think he's half and half, part-time living there, part-time living in Tammy's probably. 19% full-time living there, and 28% think he's just really at Tammy. It's an office. All right, guys, let me do a giveaway. I'm gonna give some memberships. I'm gonna give 5 memberships now. So those of you who have been participating in my channel, whichever way, Nightball is gonna randomly choose. So there you go. Sandra, Unicorn. Oh, this is coming for the Foodie Beauty Days. Lance Hunter got a membership. Oh, I'm sorry, St. Louis Scott, you did not get one. Scooters Adventures and Cats Casey, Sandra, the Unicorn Farts. Some of those are some from my foodie verse. So I got to get back over to Chantel. She is now living in Syria. If any of you have caught up with Chantel, you would know that she is living in Syria. So yeah, congrats everyone. Congrats. Congrats everybody. Congrats. Okay. All right. So here we got we're going over to Tim's videos over here. And we're gonna look at what Tim has to say about the fireworks, guys, from the night before. So I'm just gonna go take a quick peek-see at his transcript over here. Because obviously he just goes on about his coffee and about getting his coffee and how he has full creams. Okay, so let's go on about where he talks about the fireworks. So let's catch him up for that. I think I'm gonna have to put him into 1.25 because I think 1.5 is a little quick for me. All right, take it away, Tim.
With the heavy whipping cream.
Oh,
So
Sammy.
this is what's funny about the fireworks. Yesterday, I made a video.
Thank you, Sammy. That was so kind of you to gift somebody a membership. Let's see who's lucky. And Sandy Blythe was the lucky winner. So, Sandy, congratulations. You have just been gifted a free membership. And I will be planning on something that will be a members only. You can catch out my Trader Joe's shopping haul. I need to figure out what will happen with my microphone, though. Chantel is a walking target. Oh my gosh. I have no idea why that girl in Syria. Anyway, keep going, Tim.
Went over to the park.
Syria.
It had actually
Syria.
stopped raining for a couple of hours.
That was so kind. That was
and by the grace of God, it held off.
I know. I want Gen X to get a membership.
I almost went. And there was one up here where I'm heading right now to Bayfront Park and shooting it out over the water there at Ringling Bridge. I had this great idea. Man, that's good coffee. Go park where I'm going to go park right now and walk up the bridge and look in the sky and see both the fireworks there.
Yeah, we're going to listen to Tim going up the bridge because it's awesome. Because right at the very end, sounds like a man who definitely working out really hard, ready for those 200 push-ups.
There and down, just a little further down to Siesta Key. It was an idea, but I didn't do it. That's because every New Year's and 4th of July, in recent memory, I've been woke up from fireworks. I haven't brought a sunset in, my one friend used to say, in 15 years. That's because he used to party a little bit and would pass out before the sun went down. Anyway, the fireworks started long.
I didn't find where I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, that cold. I mean, to get cold, I had to be up in the mountain pole. But once you were right over the border in South Carolina, right there at Rock Hill, it was warm year round is what I found. I lived there from October right until April until October, something like that. And I lived in Charlotte from that previously up until that April. I've been living in Charlotte from like October to April or something like that up in the mountains in Charlotte. And then I had been living in Charlotte in the city. So I was right up in that area for quite some time.
Before it was bedtime.
Over a year.
You know, throughout the day, actually, I heard a few, as you would imagine. And then about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock is when they start. The sunset here is about 8:45. And they couldn't wait till 9 o'clock. They want to do their thing. And so here they go. Boom, boom, boom. I don't think anybody had one of those sparkler type fireworks. They were all.
Here's the gentleman who was out talking, giving us an American history lesson without a shirt on the previous day or 2 days before this, because this is the day after, obviously, the 4th. And, he's not I'm so confused with his dates sometimes, but obviously this is what we got. This is the day after. So today, the 5th, yes. So it was the 4th he woke up looking a little rough, wasn't it? He was obviously not happy about his. So you were already looking a little bit rough on the 4th, Tim. So no wonder Tim was trying to get to bed early. Because remember, Tim puts out so many videos, I get lost on time. But it was only yesterday morning, Tim, that you came out shirtless.
Dynamite. The loudest ones you can get, one after the other.
I can't remember which days. I'm so confused.
Watching Grid TV, watching Outlaw Channel, watching Pluto, switching around from one Western to another, and drinking coffee.
Remember the day before that?
Listening to fireworks.
That's right. It was the day before.
About 9. I knew that
Sorry, it was the day before that he was shirtless. It was the 3rd. The 4th, he was doing some other stuff, I believe. Oh, yeah. He was running around making a bunch of videos. That's right. Anyway, keep complaining, Tim.
The city ones were going on. I couldn't hear them, they're too far away. But my neighborhood had plenty going on. 10 o'clock, I figured, all right, they start at 9 officially. By 10, they got to be out of money, out of firecrackers. But no,
okay.
11.
Yeah, right.
12:30.
Yeah, I got a real crush on Tim because he's just a winner. Yeah, right. Okay. Because he has all this stuff to offer me. Promise you, I haven't had a crush on a man in a long time. Them days have flown.
The next day, this morning, 12:30 in the morning. Are you going to just turn or are you going to stand there?
That's so funny.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe it. 12:30 in the morning.
I know. I guess he's on the chat.
Wait, there's more. Then the rain around 11 came in hard. Lightning, thunder, downpours. But it was a passing thunderstorm. We've got these. That's the way it rains here. Sometimes it'll rain for 10 minutes, like pour, and then it'll stop. I mean, you can just hear it on my roof too. Just stop. And
so he's talking about, this is a guy, remember, the day before. That's right. On the 4th of July, he comes out looking smart as anything. Now I'm remembering. To contradict completely the shirtless video on the 3rd, comes out on the 4th and talks about whether, living in a trailer is the life for him, which we have decided that if you're alone as a single person, it's a good plan. Now he's talking about the rain on the roof was stopping his sleep. Obviously, it wasn't the ambient sound that Tim wanted. He's complaining about the city fireworks. It's a national federal holiday, Tim. I have some going off tonight. And like I said, I planned for it. And gave the doggy some medication and she's under the table. So the medication's probably starting to take its effect, off. She's still got a little bit of time with it. She's not as bad. She's not shaking. But yeah, I know it's tough for her. But Tim is having a tough time too.
I said, oh, I put it into those boys blowing up that dynamite out there. Oh, no.
Right.
Just as soon as the rain stopped. Boom, boom. I'm talking, I confused a lot of it with gunfire. I think some of it might have been. Anyway, about 3 different rainstorms came. One was good 20 minutes or so. I figured that's got to, get their daubers down. They'll go home and go in the house, and maybe all the beer they've been drinking and whatever they're doing will end. No. 1, 2 a.m. Boom, boom. I mean, right outside, across the fence, somewhere over there. Still doing it. And the thing is, they did it last year too. In fact, last year they did it so much. I made a video. There was so much fireworks going on.
Tim is complaining about generally what is really a once-a-year event. I'm probably more stressed by the fireworks, Tim, because my dog is standing. She's getting very upset about them at the moment, even having been given a medication to help keep her calm. And she got the last full dose this evening, and I gave it probably about 7:30ish, just because I knew it was going to be it takes about an hour to take effect. Then it takes 2 or 3 hours, and she's still nervous even despite having had a medication. So, and Tim is just complaining.
Outside the RV park, there was smoke like it was a war zone. That was just hovering around. It floated in to the RV park from all the fireworks. It was nuts. So these people really like to buy them every year, and they might be doing it again tonight. You think that's the end of the story, right? At 2 a.m? No. At 5 this morning, when somebody woke up to pee or something, boom, again, at that hour. I couldn't believe it. I figured at 9, by 10, the city ones are over at 9:30. They only do it 30 minutes. Then they have their...
Well, Tim, there's going to be young people, all sorts of stuff. People that just kind of comes with the territory. There were still people popping off crackers last night at my house at 1:30 in the morning, because that was the time that I decided to give Junebug her second dose, because I'd given her the first dose, and obviously that kind of kept her little. She's still nervous, but she sleeps a little bit, and then that kind of wore off, and we were still getting the firecrackers, and I was like, okay, let me just give her an extra dose so she'll get up on the bed and sleep. And she did, and she stayed up on the bed all night. And then we had another dose for this evening, and that's it. We don't have any more doses. And it was not, as anybody knows, anything with medications in this country for pets, they're not inexpensive. So it was like $70-some for 3 doses of something to keep my dog calm. Something that came from Finland or something. But yeah, Tim, I promise you, dogs hate it more than you do.
Finale. Wow. So I don't want to sound annoyed, because I was, but I wasn't. Just like, I couldn't believe it.
He doesn't want to sound annoyed, but he was, but he wasn't. No, Tim, you were annoyed. You're going on about how great it is to have what a patriot you are, this, that, and the other. You can't tolerate one night of some dang fireworks. If you know it's going to be that bad, Tim, why didn't you hook up the trailer and take yourself to a more rural area where potentially there would not be as many fireworks going off? Or somewhere that, people know to be quiet during the holidays. I mean, you suppose you can just pick up and travel, but you love to tell people. So why didn't you plan ahead?
How much money did you spend on firecrackers? I can think of a lot better ways to blow up my money than to burn it up in the street on a bomb.
Yeah, okay, Tim. Well, some people might think you shooting bullets at a gun range is not a good use of money, because bullets are expensive. So, I mean, everyone has what they think is a good use of money. A lot of people have fun with fireworks. I know a bunch of dads down in South Carolina who just go nuts with that stuff. They all have electrical engineering degrees, and they set up these huge displays, and they get tablets that they program when to set off the fireworks. I mean, they just have a blast. You would hate it over in South Carolina then. I tell you, I mean, it's like whole neighborhoods going into this stuff. I mean, I've been to some of the biggest celebrations for the 4th of July in places like South Carolina at, with friends of mine, going to their neighborhoods and stuff. I mean, just wildness. People having a blast.
Anyway, got this morning late, as you can imagine, because I couldn't go to sleep. I drank coffee late. I didn't take any sleep aid, and dynamite was being blasted right outside the door. It sounded like. So I got up at 7:30, and then, I needed a shower and, all that. I looked like hell. I still didn't get much sleep.
Oh yeah, the emergency departments, any of those, we are always dreading anything to do with fireworks. And I understood there was a gentleman, I think, who he lost his life with some fireworks last year because he went over with something, and it was in South Carolina, and then they went off. So they're absolutely dangerous. Absolutely. So I'm not saying that things, the one thing that you're going to be doing that's one thing with is safety protocols at all time. But yeah, I'm sure, Sharon. Yeah, I promise you, I lived in Mexico. There are always accidents with fireworks all the time too.
I wasn't about to make no video. The only thing I wanted was coffee, baby, coffee. So I made coffee, drank it by myself. Got a couple of phone calls, talked on the phone with some people, and shaved and showered and shampooed and got out the door. And I'm back out in the sunshine. Wake, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. I want to say thank you again. I got a couple more late comments.
Tim all upset about the fireworks, but what the heck was happening the night before that had you looking as rough as you did that day you came in shirtless? Okay, let's hear who's Tim thinking.
Last night and this morning, wishing me a happy 4th. I hope you guys all had a good one yourself. And I made a steak last night.
Oh, goodness.
I had what do you call it? Hey, buddy, you want to roll over next to me? Strip. And believe it or not, I got to take back what I said about him. This one was best strip steak I ever ate in my life. New York strip. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great, Tim. Last night's fireworks was more like a zone in my neighborhood. So I guess that living just the best life ever, because didn't it just the other day he took us around the tour of the Flagstaff with the shed, the she shed, as Tinger likes to call it, and the all the vehicles out on the slab, and he was all happy about the slab. And now he's all upset. Tim, you can't make up your mind. All right, let's look at the last little thing that we're going to look up. And then we're going to call it a night, guys, because I've already stolen almost 2 hours of everybody's time. You're a pescatarian now? Well, congratulations, Catherine. That's very cool. Oh, my goodness. Tim, your carnivore diet is not convincing people. Well, good for you. That's an excellent choice of diet. Very Mediterranean. Very heart healthy. Fireworks were lighter this year from where you live in Central Arkansas. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of cities were cutting back. You know what? I was so tired. I obviously had the shower ready for Junebug, but I fell asleep. I didn't hear anything. So yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I didn't really hear it. So it was probably pretty loud because I live at the oceanfront, so snow wasn't loud enough to keep me awake. I must be much more insulated in my condo, Tim. Because I promise you, I live at the beach district here in Virginia Beach, and I can promise you there was a huge firework display. And it goes on for like 40-some minutes. I mean, it goes on for a long time. It is a full-blown, I mean, they have it from out of the water. I mean, there's so many people. It takes hours to actually leave the beach. The roads were probably jam-packed with traffic trying to leave because everybody tries to sit on the sand in order to watch all of the firework display. And since there was great weather last night, I'm sure it was just going off like just insanity last night. And I don't remember any of it. Okay, last bit of video. So Tim is asking to get some more support. 1,600 views, though. That's not bad for Tim asking for support of his channel. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you in advance. Tim has really been pushing to get his channel getting more likes, more views. He's really been pushing this narrative more. So we're just going to catch him at the port where he begins to ask for this help and assistance. And then we will it's right here. Okay. So this is where he starts talking about his YouTube algorithm. Okay. This is okay. So this is the quality content. So he's out here. He's at the Ringling Bridge. I don't think he's got a microphone on. It's a hit or miss with Tim. And then just we're going to actually put him down to normal speed because I would like you to hear how well he sounds at the end of this walk.
Getting our steps in and enjoying life. I got some good things I want to talk about later today with you guys, so I appreciate you sticking around. I'd also like to, while I'm talking about it and screaming over these cars, could I ask?
Why don't you put a microphone on? I don't know if he's screaming or is he just getting short of breath going up the hill. I mean, not that many of us would not become short of breath, but this is a person who just said he did 200 press-ups or push-ups in a day. I don't know if that's all at one time when he tried to say those 200 push-ups, or was it, 2 push-ups here, 2 push-ups there, and by the end of a 24-hour period, it had equated to 200 push-ups. The way he was putting it out, because he was trying to say he was doing 80 crunches too. You don't sound like a man doing 80 crunches and 200 push-ups at the moment, Tim. Oh, there goes the fireworks are really going off now here. Oh gosh, it's 9:30. So we've got a big display going off here in Virginia Beach, guys.
For a thumbs up on the videos. I noticed the percentage of thumbs up versus the amount of views doesn't really correlate. You can do it on your TV, you can do it on your phone, your tablet. It'll help in the algorithm to push my videos back out into the world again, like they did a couple of years ago, that attracted a lot more subscribers and got a lot more views. So
Tim is trying to figure out still, guys, what is going wrong with his algorithm? How was it that he could put out a video of him, just driving down to Lido Beach and he get 20,000 views? And now he's, continuing with the same content type, and yet he's getting 1,600 views for his Aqua de Gio Fufu scent. And he just doesn't understand why he's putting out this quality content, and he just needs you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. But listen to this next part, because there's some interesting stuff that he puts out. He says, so I'm going to try to be quiet and let him talk.
If you want to help support the channel, support it by hitting the thumbs up on the videos. I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you are subscribed, check your subscription to make sure you still are. Some people have reported where they did, and then for some reason, they found themselves not subscribed. So anyway, there's a lot of anomalies going on with the social media. The numbers go up and down, but I need your support. I ask you kindly to do that if you feel like it. If you don't like the video, obviously don't give it a thumbs up. But I'm sure you do. You guys are the best people in the world. Let me get my steps on out here and keep crushing
it. Tim sounded like he was getting very out of breath there at the end. And I think Tim is trying to figure out how is he getting, in one of his videos, he tries to say, I think it was this where he talks about he's not getting as many, like the percentage of likes doesn't match to the number of views that he's getting. And he doesn't understand what's going on. Well, Tim, there's some views that you're getting that may not be people who want to come in and like. And not everybody who watches is going to remember to hit the like. If you could get 10% of likes on your video, that's pretty good. So, I mean, I don't know what your percentage of likes are. I mean, you only leave 7 cleansed comments on a video with 2,800 views. So what do you expect? You're killing your engagement. That's what happened, Tim. Let me tell you what happened. And then we're going to finish this up, guys, and finish out our poll here. But Tim, I'll tell you what happened. And there's many of these people who can attest to this here in the audience that are watching this evening. when you went around and like banned people off your comment section and scrubbed people's comments away, you started to kill your engagement, Tim. That's when you started to kind of kill your engagement. Then you appeared absolutely stalkers in one of your videos. And I think that did not improve your engagement. And then I think there was just been a series of events, Tim, that have, for whatever reason, have not pushed you so much up the algorithm. I can promise you the other day, I typed in Sarasota Tim, and there were so many other channels. Mine does not show up like that because I don't really use your name. But there were so many other channels that showed up that were making commentary and using your name, Tim. So, and you were so far down the algorithm. And that's never a good sign for a channel. When your reaction channels are that, and then, you know, the problem is that what will happen is Tim will start to get strike happy in about 10 days, I guess, or 5 days, because we're coming to about a month. So Tim goes through these cycles where he gets very unhappy with anybody who's making reaction around him, any commentary. He starts striking. So I'm sure mine will be coming around the mountain soon enough. But anyway, guys, he might get a view, but most people trail off after the first 2 minutes. Yeah, I wonder what his engagement's like too, as well. Because, you know, 36 minutes when you don't really have like a good you know, if you're going to do something, like I said, about like the pros and cons of living in a RV or a trailer or whatever, camper, whatever you want to call it. I mean, a lot of times people try to at least put the little lists up, you know. I've been trying to figure out how to overlay that. I think there's a way that you have to, you know, you make a video and it's blank and you overlay it over another video or whatever. Tim, you have enough time. You're supposedly retired that you could be playing with Canva and editing, you know, videos that potentially would have kept your audience more engaged. I think also potentially was off-putting was him putting out so many videos a day. I think the golf too might have been one of the great killers, because when he was traveling, I believe that his audience would have enjoyed, because people have been we're sending him a lot of buy me a coffees, would have enjoyed seeing Tim in national parks and stuff. But no, he was on like barren, dry golf courses and things. And his audience kept saying to him, hey, we don't really enjoy watching this content. And Tim didn't care. Tim was like assuming that he could put out whatever and he could get 20,000 views regardless, because he had such a loyal following. And in reality, most people will find that, you know, their, you know, actual subscriber counts and their views, you know, they don't correlate in a lot of ways. Not every video you put out, your subscribers are going to be interested in watching. This is kind of how it works. So, yeah. But anyway, let me make sure I thank everybody tonight. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Saturday night. And I thank you all for joining me here. Let's finish out the poll real quick. Let me get it in the poll. And thank you for everybody who did participate in the poll this evening. And so let me see. It should have come up. Where's the poll? I finished the poll. So is it the poll? Did the poll show up? Let me put in the live chat. There we go. Okay, so 164 people voted. So thank you so much. That was awesome. And obviously, the winner was the Sometimes He Stays There. So we think it's a 50-50, you know, on Tim being there on occasion and not being there. And then 27% think he just lives full-time with Tammy, and 17% thought he lives full-time in the RV. So thank you guys for participating in that. Thank you all. Ollie boy, night to you too. I want to thank everybody who obviously was so very generous this evening and gifting, Dr. Falcon, Just Cody, Lori with the membership, watching and judging you, our good friend Flat Pat, me, I gifted 5. And of course, Sammy, who is not only one of our moderators, but also took the time to gift. And I certainly do appreciate that. And just again, I want to thank everybody who participated in the fundraiser for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. As we said, we raised $1,000, maybe a little bit more altogether. And I personally, once everything comes through from YouTube, payday is, it generally falls on the 21st of the month. But if it's a weekend, then it falls to whichever day is the first Monday of that day. And I will be making a donation of $700 in honor of Bev Bianco from the fundraising of this community through Buy Me a Coffee and through the YouTube video. So I thank you all for that. That was fantastic. And thank you, Sammy, for being a moderator this evening. Also to our good friend, Catherine, who was our moderator. And obviously, I know Angel of Glass was here, and they popped in and out. And so Angel of Glass, I know they get busy around the community and YouTube. And so I certainly appreciate Angel of Glass for having been here too. And I hope everyone has a fantastic Sunday tomorrow. And and Denise, I know Denise got membership, and all of you who are new to the community, I'm so glad that you will be joining us. Make sure you check out my Trader Joe's haul. That's the one thing I do share. And I hope everyone stays safe. And again, I just want to send my thoughts to everybody in Texas. I know that, Jerry, I hope your sons are safe as they go out to. Yeah, hey, thank you, Angel Glass. And everybody who's there in Texas, I just wish you all the best and safety, and for everything to get back to normal as soon as possible for you guys. I know we're all thinking of you here, wherever you are in the world. And I will catch you on the next one. I'm going to try to see if, like I said, I'm going to set my own challenge for the month of July. We'll see how we do. But I had a blast, guys. I had you almost for 2 hours. So it's time for me to say goodbye and good night, and see you on the next one. Bye.